My name's Troy.
I'm done.
So basically in this video, we're going to be diving into what we're going to be covering in our podcast that we're building and building and creating during the bear market. I don't know if you follow crypto like me and Don do, but right now the prices, most mainstream people aren't paying attention. And as you can see, we're in the laboratory and we're going to be bringing you alpha, free insights, technical analysis, getting the overall understanding, the bigger picture view of the equity markets. We won't focus too much in. I don't want to focus too much in stocks, but looking at the Dow, the S&P, the Nasdaq, see what the Fed's doing. We like to see the bigger picture. Because then when we come into this littler market, obviously Bitcoin is a smaller market cap than the equities market. That will dictate and give us more of an understanding of what's going on in the day to day in the crypto world. So basically, you guys are wondering, what does Defiant Labs mean? So Defiant is kind of like if a DeFi and a lion had a baby. Defiant. We're bringing you alpha and we're in the laboratory. So we're in the lab and we're think of it like, this might sound corny, two lions in the lab, shooting, it's like locker room. Like imagine two hockey players in the library or not the library. Hockey players don't study. In the locker room, in the locker room. That's what we're doing. We're just, talking, bringing some alpha, some value. We don't expect anything to come out of this. We're just starting this YouTube channel. We'll probably get 10 views on this video. That's fine. We're here to bring alpha, bring value. We're filling gaps in our own brain. So this is a win-win for everyone. So I'm glad for you guys to be here on this podcast while we show you the alpha.
Yeah, I mean, between the two of us, we have like almost 15 years of combined experience in the space of Bitcoin and crypto. So there's a lot of stuff that we can bring to people that they probably won't get in a lot of other places.
Mhm.
I was thinking about this yesterday. A lot of people that are in crypto, I think a big makeup have come 2020 and after. So, a lot of people weren't around for the block size wars. A lot of people weren't here before ICOs when we only had 4 or 5 coins, like when there were huge lulls and in watching CNBC, you might get maybe one, mention of Bitcoin a week, maybe two a month. And it was just like such an early space, which it still is early, but I think what my goal for us here is I want us to be like a source of knowledge for people, and in the initial people that hopefully view this will be people that we both know and they feel comfortable asking us the questions that maybe maybe asking a question that will spawn the question that they really need to get answered, because maybe they don't know how to ask the question that they have in the way that they want to ask it. And I want us to be that place where they can feel comfortable doing that and know that their answer will get responded, instead of going to like one of those larger, places where you just kind of get lost and they're trying to sell you things and you don't really learn. There's a lot of this space. There's a lot of, you know, it's necessary that there's some things that you learn in order to be able to fully take advantage of this space, more so than others. You can jump on a Acorns app, or you can jump on like a Stash app or something like that and just start trading stocks, not really know a whole hell of a lot and do decently well. But with crypto and with Bitcoin, there's a little bit more intricacies that people need to understand. We talk about the, not your keys, not your coins. What does that mean? What are on ramps, like fiat to crypto? A lot of little things that we kind of take for granted that maybe others wouldn't understand, that we could be here as a source for people to, ask those questions or watch our videos and get those questions answered and navigate better.
If you're a Bitcoin expert, what a layer 2 is, ZK rollups, zero knowledge rollups, everything, the ins and outs of crypto. This podcast might not be for you, at least for now. This is more to help on-ramp new users This is more of a thesis driven media podcast that we're presenting to you. More beginner to intermediate, a little bit more expert. I don't want to scare people away when they first come in. But yeah, you said it perfectly. We're here to help unwrap or decode the cryptoverse, the metaverse, NFTs. I bring a lot of my expertise in technical analysis. So going over charts, understanding different indicators, moving averages, how to read time frames, candlesticks, and then using that judgment and putting together your own thesis. We encourage you to listen to other podcasts. Me and Don, we both listen to multiple podcasts. I can name
all day long. Yeah.
podcasts right now that are excellent, but they could be a little bit too advanced for you. They could, they could be confusing. And that's why we're here to build during the bear market, bring value, and we really want you guys to get something out of this. So me and Don are going to go into today. It's not going to be a crazy long podcast. We're going to go into the overall big picture. We're going to look at the market cap of crypto, the Bitcoin and Ethereum chart. We're also going to give you a little background of where we came from, how we started, so kind of like our wins and losses, a few of our mistakes that we wish we're going to go over our mistakes we wish we knew before we got into this. So basically, if you're coming in fresh eyes, you're going to be watching this video. You're going to get a lot of value because you're going to be learning from, if you put our experience together, it's like almost 15 years. You're learning from almost 15 years of experience in a couple 10, 20 minutes. The value is just extraordinary there. So before we dive into the charts, I want Don to go first. He's an expert Bitcoin guy. I wouldn't say Bitcoin maxi. You're diving into other areas, but I want you to go introduce yourself, let people know what to expect.
Yeah, so my name is Don. I've been in crypto since late 2013. I found crypto through commodities. I was investing in gold and silver. Long and short of it, I had a silver newsletter that I was subscribed to, and it kept talking about Bitcoin. At first, I really wasn't into it. I didn't really do a lot of research, and then once I did, and the light bulb kind of went on, I dove full into it, and I came in right at the first really, I guess you would say the second, because the first was really when the coin went up to around, $50 and then back down to $1. But the first really big drop from that $1,100 peak down to the bottom, which was around like $199. And I came in down during that descent. I think the first coins I got were in the 700-800s, and then I kept accumulating, and you have to have a certain mindset, especially in any sort of investing, and I really believe this, that you have to have conviction no matter what the price is doing. If you feel a certain way about something long term, the price is kind of irrelevant. You really got to look at it like, oh, you're getting things on sale, and that's kind of how I looked at it. And I've been, like I said, I've been in the space when I was in the space originally. There was Bitcoin, there was Ethereum, and there was Litecoin. That was all that really existed in 2014, 2015, when I was really accumulating. And I just did like what I'm kind of encouraging people to do now. I tried to find and eat up as much information as I could. And back then, there really wasn't a lot. There was maybe 4 or 5 really good follows on Twitter. Videos on YouTube are really tough to find. And then as things ramped up into 2017, we got the ICOs, initial coin offerings, and we got all these other new coins that came into the space. That time was challenging because it was hard to figure out who really had, good intentions. So there was a lot of scams. And there's been some, the FTX and everything that's gone on recently, but at this time it was like, you didn't really know what people were they trying to give you information, or were they trying to sell you something? Were they gearing you in a direction? There was a lot of vulnerable people, and unfortunately people lost money, left the space. And I think some of those people did come back in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. But like I said, I've seen a lot. I've seen it go from 1,100. I was here for it when it went 1,100 down to 199, and then I seen it rocket from 199 up to 20,000. And I did sell some coins. I sold some coins in about the $10,000 range. I sold a couple. I've talked about that prior. and I also kept coins as well because I believed in the long term. And I haven't sold any Bitcoin. I've only accumulated since around it's been 5 years. Around February of 2018 is the last time I sold any Bitcoin. Let me be very, very specific. And like Troy said, I'm not necessarily a Bitcoin maxi. The Bitcoin maximalist is Bitcoin only, and everything else is a shit coin. Fiat's a shit coin, yada yada yada. And to an extent, I agree with some of that. However, we still live in a fiat-based system. No matter how much we are trying to fight against that, when I go to the grocery store, the dollar still buys me things, and it's still, the dollar is still king. So I think it's foolish to resent anything that can accumulate me more dollars that could, in the end, accumulate more Bitcoin for me. If I can go buy a coin that's going to 100x and I can use those profits to buy more Bitcoin, why would I not do that? That's the way that I feel. Again, I feel like Bitcoin is the king. It is the best, the world's greatest asset ever been created, apex predator, and all that. I subscribe completely to Michael Saylor's thoughts. But when it comes to altcoins, if I can make some money in altcoins and I can use that to both help my family and accumulate my Bitcoin stacks, I think it's absolutely foolish not to do that.
Yeah, especially Bitcoin's decentralized nature. I feel like once people start realizing what these central banks around the world, of the largest countries like US, Russia, and China, they're running simulations on this, their own form of digital currency. Before I go into like my side of things, let's, finish off what you were talking about. Bitcoin is king. Bitcoin is truly decentralized, and we're not going to dive too much into this video. I feel like that's a long, touchy subject. We're going to be talking in the next upcoming episode. So smash the follow button and shoot a like so you get notifications when these are dropped.
For sure.
Yeah, the decentralized nature of Bitcoin is truly the value, that and the scarcity that the only 21 million Bitcoins ever to be created are mined. Once these central banks start dropping this digital form of fiat currency, which is backed by a central authority, a central bank, that's very scary stuff. Like this is think of a world where there's programmable, surveillanced, traceable money that they could one day maybe control your financial lives, which is very scary. That's something we'll save. I don't want to scare people off too much, but Bitcoin saves us against that because Bitcoin's decentralized. These are CBDCs are centralized, controlled by one authority, one entity can make all the decisions. We don't want the concentration of power to be in the hands of few. We don't want that. Do you have anything to add there?
I'm gonna guess. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that probably anybody that's watching this video right now understands that we're not on a gold standard, that the dollar's not backed by gold. I'm going to make that assumption, but I'm always amazed and I forget that there are a substantial amount of people out there that don't realize the dollar's not backed by gold. Like they just still assume that and don't realize that since 1971 that hasn't been a thing. And I would implore anybody to check out a really cool website. WTF happened in 1971. It gives you a snapshot of like the prices of things back pre-1971 and the prices of goods and services today to kind of see what has happened, which is the complete reason why Bitcoin was created, to put the buying power back in the hands of the people, to give you a chance against inflation, because you really just subscribing to just fiat, right? Not believing in crypto or Bitcoin at all, you are at the mercy of inflation. Whether you love Bitcoin or crypto or not, if you choose to be on the other side of that, you are at the mercy of inflation. And the only shot you have is Bitcoin and crypto right now, in my opinion. And I think that opinion, I'll go on a limb and say fact, that it's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll hear a lot of inflation. You'll hear a lot of interest rates. And we'll make sure we cover everything. We'll have stuff in the show notes below, links to our social medias, resources that we think that we utilize. We just want to make sure this is I wouldn't say the one-stop shop podcast. Like I said, I encourage you to, do your due diligence, use Twitter, use other podcasts, but we definitely want to be we want to grow this, eventually, and it's sad that the whole market is when we might getting, a little bit more viewers. But again, it's not about the viewers, it's about the value. And like I said, we're filling gaps in our brain. We're learning as we're talking and communicating, we're explaining it to ourselves and filling gaps in our mind. So that's why I encourage you, if you are listening to this, make a Snapchat, shoot videos, talk to yourself, and then you'll teach yourself. It's awesome how easy it is to do. But yeah. So you know what I mean, Don? Like we post a video, you look at the video. I'll edit a video and I'll send it to you, and then you'll look at it and you'll be like, wow, that makes sense. That's filling gaps in my mind.
My wife laughs at me because every time we film an episode, like later on in the afternoon, I'm sitting on my TV and I'm watching it. She's like, "Why are you watching yourself?" I'm like, "I want to see like what I said and how am I relaying the information, because I'm doing this to educate people, and how well am I doing that? Where did I make mistakes, and how do I get better?" Right?
Yeah. How many times do you watch your video when I edit it and send it?
Well, quite a few times.
Over 5?
Definitely.
Yeah, I watch it a lot too. See this. Look at this. Look at this candlestick right here. Each candle represents 1 week. We'll dive into that later. But look at, we're starting to break above this 200-day moving average, which is bullish. So I'm excited for the next weeks to come, and I'm excited to keep getting this podcast out for you guys. But before any further, let's talk a little bit about me and my experience. So I haven't been in crypto since 2013. I got in 2017, 18. I'll admit I bought, during the retail zone. So you just say the top. I bought the top, or at least on the way to the top, and I never sold. Basically lost everything because I had it in a Binance exchange where US citizens can't get access. And I have to prove like some bank statement from like 2017 that I don't even have that bank anymore. There's no way I can get my Bitcoin. It was only like a couple of thousand only. It'll be much more when Bitcoin goes higher. Maybe I have to work on this week to get that. But yeah, so basically I bought a bunch of altcoins, lost everything on everything during the ICO mania, converted it all into Bitcoin, and it's all sitting on that Binance exchange that I can't get access to, which is, tough. It is what it is. But yeah, so I walked away a little bit and I got fully back in during 2020. I got Bitcoin around 13K so if we look around this area, so like around this area is when I started to get back in. I didn't go into altcoins, which I should have. I would have made a lot more. I just got into Bitcoin and I wrote it up and I sold it. And now I'm all, pretty much 95% cryptocurrency now because I truly fully understand it. But yeah, that's it. And then, I wasn't into NFTs. I'm more into NFTs now. I got in, I got scammed. I gave someone $2,000 to invest for me. And he was going to put it into ICOs before they got launched. And those never came to fruition. So just basically realize that it's a skeptical industry for now. I don't think it's going to be like that forever. But yeah, you just have to be careful with who you trust and who you get information on. A lot of people aren't out there for your best interests. So it's important to be able to identify that. Yeah, that's really it. I not crazy. I mean, I have a lot more stories during this cycle. This is what I mean. This cycle opposed to this cycle. I got heavily right here, and made a bunch of money on Olympus DAO, which was a DeFi summer freaking mania. It's crazy. I'll save that for another story, but because we don't have much time here, this is just the intro to our podcast. But there's a lot of money to be made, and I put like $500 in this coin, and it went up to 35 grand. I never took full profits. I took some profits, but it ended up going down 99%. But what it did to me is it opened my mind of what could be. If I watched $500 go to 30K, what do you think bigger numbers could go to? You know what I mean? Obviously, like it's never 100%, and this isn't financial advice that crypto is risky. You can lose everything in crypto. Like I'm not trying to tell you that this is the industry to get rich overnight. I'm telling you, it's going to be blood and greed and a lot of emotions.
There's a larger conversation there in what you just said too, though, because a lot of people don't understand this concept in traditional, because people are used to traditional markets. Like in traditional markets, if you can get a 7% return in a year, you're doing super fantastic. If a stock goes up like 5%, it's so good, right? So you don't get those violent swings too much in traditional markets. But in order for things to ever go parabolic, you need violent swings in both directions, right? So we've seen Bitcoin drop between 80 and 95% like 4 or 5 times, right? But we've also seen this asset go from, single digits to up to 69,000. You can't do that without violent volatility. So you need the volatility in both directions. Like you want to see that price go from, so quickly it went from 20,000 up to 60,000, but it can't do that unless it can also go from 60,000 back down to 20,000. It has to go in both directions. So you have to be able to ride that volatility in order to get the benefit. So that conviction that I was talking about, like you have to like zoom out, look away from the price and realize that in order to get that great upside, you have to also be willing to take that downside in order to get that springboard trampoline like move back up.
That's what I'm saying. If you can't,
very tough concept.
If you can't tolerate the 50-60% corrections, you don't deserve the 2,000-3,000% gains. And that's what I came to terms to. Like if I can't hold a Bitcoin swing, like 10%, they have 10%, 20% swings. Altcoins could have a 20% swing plus, Bitcoin 5-6%. If you can't tolerate that downside, you don't deserve the upside later down the road. It's kind of like that. So let's take a quick look and just see where Bitcoin's sitting at right now. This is awesome. Look at this Bitcoin chart. All right, so we're sitting at about, what is this?
24. I think we're at 24.5 or something. I seen before we jumped out.
We're touching 25,000. And look at this moving average. See this blue line?
I got a notification while you were talking. I got a notification that Bitcoin was up 1.86%. I seen it on my phone. So we're getting close to 25.
Yep. Yeah, we're touching 25. 25 is this blue.
Seems to be resistance, huh?
Well, yeah. So this 200-day moving average, it's a trend following indicator. It's a trend following indicator that measures over the last 200 days, the recent trend. And typically, when the candles are above this 200-day moving average, it's bullish. When the candles are below, it's bearish. And we get rejected. So we're tapping this. This is more of TA, technical analysis. We're going to dive deeper into this throughout the podcast. If we break, that's bullish. If we break over, especially if a new candle opens. So if a new weekly candle opens above this 200-day, that's bullish.
We got rejected yesterday, right? I was watching at work. We got close. When I was at work. It seemed like 24.8.
This is a perfect time. Sorry, something's going on. It's one of these things. Isn't this a perfect time to really go balls to the wall on this podcast? Like prices are low. Do you think this could be you think this is the bottom?
Do I think?
Dude, that would be
I'm pretty confident right now that we probably 15.5 was the bottom because I don't see anything else. Genesis is kind of, they made their agreements with their bankruptcy. It doesn't seem like DCG is going to fail. I don't see any really big domino really falling. In the fact that the great thing, if you can really say all these people losing their money in FTX, Celsius, and 3 Arrows Capital, I don't mean this to sound the way that's probably going to sound, but the really good thing that happened during all that is it made people take their Bitcoin off exchanges. Mm-hmm. So now what we may see is much less ability for that huge selling pressure because the coins just aren't on the exchanges. And now when we get this halvening, right, we can talk about that if people don't understand what that is. The halvening that's going to happen in about 12 or so or 14 or so months is going to even reduce the amount on exchanges even more. So the ability for like a lot of sell pressure isn't really going to exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If this is the bottom right here, I bought the bottom for the first time. I didn't buy the bottom here, but I wish I did. Bought the bottom here. Does this pay off? in a year? Question mark. Does it pay off in 2? I don't care. I have conviction and patience. You know how Warren Buffett's so successful? Because he's not in a rush to get rich. You know, he started becoming really wealthy around 50. I'm not going to wait till 50, 60. Crypto's way more in its infancy stage, you know, but I'm not in a rush. I don't need to get rich next cycle. Maybe 2 cycles? Question mark. It's up to you guys. It depends on, you know, what you guys want to do. Are you guys in this? Are you guys a tourist or are you guys a pioneer? Tourists come and go. You know, they come in, they lose a little bit of money, they leave. Or are you a pioneer, an innovator, a builder, an investor? That's, you know, and if you're not using this technology, if you don't know what Uniswap is and you never used Uniswap, how are you going to know? Like, Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. You can swap from one token into another token without having your assets on an exchange. You just connect your wallet, which we're going to be talking into MetaMask. I know MetaMask actually just came out with a Learn platform where you can go in and actually learn how to set up your MetaMask. So that saves it from us. We can put the link in the show notes on a MetaMask, how to learn how to set up your own wallet and learn how to connect to different decentralized applications and financial services like Uniswap, which is a DEX. If you don't use this technology, you got to use it. You can't invest in something you don't use. Like, you use Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm building, I'm learning, and I'm using applications on Ethereum, you know, so, but we're going to wrap this up here, Don. I have a few people, they're switching out my washer. So I don't want to make up too much noise.
Sure, sure.
But if you have any last minute thoughts, we'll wrap this up here and then we'll be here every Thursday. So,
well, this is going to be my outro every single podcast. I'm gonna leave it the same every single week. Don't trust, verify.
yes, don't trust, verify. If you're ever sending a large transaction to someone, do a small amount, send the full amount. If you're sending crypto from Coinbase to your wallet, do a small amount. Even Vitalik Buterin does that. You know, sends a test amount and then sends the full amount. And before you send money to someone, check the public address. Make sure it's not some other smart contract for another token. Just check. Don't trust, verify. Even with podcasts, you have no reason to trust us. Don't trust, verify. Go look into us. Go look at our pages. Go see the value we bring to the world. You know, and that's it.
We should put our Twitters, our Twitter, our social media stuff in the show notes as well. If people want to follow us there and ask more questions there, if they don't want to put it on a video.
Yeah, we'll do that for you guys, and then just smash the follow button, leave a like, and then you'll
if you find value here, share it with other people. Let them take a look and see what they think. If they're, you know, on the edge for crypto, like, this is going to be a good place for people, and we're easily accessible. Like, if you're in Western New York, like, we're right here in Western New York, easily accessible, and we're not selling you anything. We're just giving you information.
We are gonna release a newsletter, a free newsletter, which will just, you know, Don will be writing some articles on Bitcoin. I'll be talking about, you know, my weekly token that I pick every week, you know, some premium alpha, some insights, stuff like that, you know, something that you can get like push notifications right to your phone, what's going on, the prices, real-time quotes, stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoy. And that's a wrap. Like I said, leave a follow button or leave a follow and a like and share or a comment. If you have any questions, concerns, that's awesome too. All righty.
Absolutely. All right.